Hi there, Jennifer here. You know, I can be considered an expert on pain. Why? Because I suffered in it for at least 35 years. So, what I want to talk to you about is why emotional pain must be released. And the first reason is because it can manifest as physical pain. You could end up with arthritis, you could end up with heart disease, you could end up with fibromyalgia, Epstein Barr, an autoimmune disease. Emotional pain is there to show us what we're feeling, but it is not a place to reside. We are meant to let it go. So I'm going to share with you how to do this in this process. And so it's not going to take very long to do, but I just want to go through the stages. And here's a quote from Alexander Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell is a Canadian who developed the telephone. And so as an American, you may not have heard of him, but as a Canadian, he's a famous person for me. So his quote is, "When one door closes, another opens. But we often look so long and regretfully on that closed door that we do not see the ones that open for us." So that's another reason why we need to release emotional pain. But what I will also tell you is, having a mom, as you know, my mother is nearly 100, she doesn't hang on to it. She blasts other people, she dumps on other people, she'll blow up on other people, project her emotions on others, but she's not holding on to them at all. And so she has lived this long, glorious life, nearly 100 years old. In July she will be, because she doesn't hold on to pain. And there was an article written in the Daily Mail about narcissists living much longer than the rest of us for this very reason, because they don't experience the pain that we do. And when they do, it's usually anger, and it's like blast and it's gone. So here's what we need to do to release pain. Now, I will tell you, I had fibromyalgia, Epstein Barr, I had depression, anxiety, I had shooting pains in my body, I had cluster migraines, I had rheumatoid arthritis, all gone, all gone. When I was in England, I had it in my knuckles. It's not there anymore. Okay, so what do you need to do? Number one, you need to commit to yourself. Why? Because without a commitment, we're wishy-washy. It's no big deal. I can start some other time. But when we commit and we write it down and sign and date it, I'm not suggesting you do it in blood, but you don't have to be like Jack Sparrow, the pirate, with a blood commitment. No, we don't need to do that. But you do need to commit to yourself and recognize this commitment is your bond. Your word is your bond. It is all we have. And so follow through on this commitment and make it your pledge to yourself to let go. All right. So number one, commit to yourself. Number two, acknowledge the pain, because we don't want to ignore and sweep things under the carpet. Lord knows that enough things have been swept under the carpet all these years. A lot of things have been swept under the carpet. So acknowledge what you're feeling. Oh man, I feel sadness. I also feel despair. I feel sad. Yes, those words affected me strongly. I feel sad. Okay, so then what do? Well, then you accept. This is how you feel. Yes, am feeling this way. I do feel sorrow. I do feel despair. And now, what do I need to do? I need to let it go. So how do we let it go? Well, you can pour yourself an Epsom salts bath, and with 3-4 handfuls of Epsom salts or sea salt, any kind of salt, get in the tub and just say, I release all this pain. I release this sorrow. I let go of all this suffering. Let it go in the bathtub. Write yourself a note. You could, I let go of this sorrow. I let go of this pain. I let go of this suffering. I let go of despair. Burn it and then breathe. Okay, so here's another way to release emotions. you're feeling something. What we tend to do is, I'm going to have a glass of wine, I'm going to have a piece of cake, a brownie, a biscuit, something yummy to me to stuff those emotions down, down, down so I don't feel them. And if you do that enough, you know what happens? You become numb. And I answer questions on Quora all the time. It is my way of giving back to the universe. It is my way of helping others that can't afford my services. So one of the things I'm asked constantly is, why do I feel this numbness? It's because you've been stuffing emotions for so long that your heart is shut completely and you're numb. And so if numbness is ensuing, then boy, oh boy, do we need to work together. I can do an energy clearing for you where I help you to move these emotions, these heavy emotions that you don't know how to release. But if you want to do it on your own, what do? You welcome this emotion. Yes, I feel sadness, and I want to feel it fully. Don't be afraid. It's just an emotion. So breathe into it. Bring it to you. I want to feel this completely. Let me really feel it. Maybe you're going to cry, and that's okay too. That's a great way to release. But really bring it in, feel it fully, breathe into this emotion, exhale. Breathe in again. And exhale like a waterfall. Letting it go. Breathe in, unconditional love. And let go of all that no longer serves you. I feel better. Do you feel better? All right. So then, what do we need to do? Forgive yourself for holding on. Forgive yourself for beating yourself up. Forgive yourself for being such a hard taskmaster. Don't be a bitch to yourself. Be a lover to yourself. I let go of the bitch years ago. It's gone. It has gone. The resting bitch phase too. Okay, so we want to not be stubborn. We want to release and let go. Stubbornness helped us way back when, but it is not helpful now. Stubbornness might have protected us back then, but stubbornness today is causing us harm because it's preventing us from letting go. And I want to remind you, what you resist persists. What does that mean? The more you fight letting go, the more sadness, sorrow, despair you will feel. So I guarantee you, if you could a few times, or do the Kundalini yoga, the one, I have a video on YouTube, and please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, press the bell so that you'll be reminded every time I release a new one. But this acknowledging, releasing, so we need to recognize what we feel, acknowledge it, so it's raising our awareness, acknowledge it, then release it, and then we want to forgive ourselves and everyone that has hurt or harmed us. Always, always, always begin with you. Self-healing begins here at home, in our home heart, in our home body. So forgiveness. I'm sorry, and this is the way I do it. I bow my head because it quiets the mind. My mind is quiet, but yours might not be. So we cross our arms over our shoulders. We bow our heads. Take a nice deep breath. Focus on your inner child. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. So that is forgiveness. You can do it and for 20 minutes, 40 minutes. My daughter did it once, forgiving her father. She took the prayer into her room, closed the door, spent 40 minutes repeating the Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. So forgiveness for yourself first, and then everyone, those bastards that hurt or harmed you, you want to forgive them. I'm just kidding. So anyone that's hurt or harmed you, it could be a child. Our children, if we've got mature adults, well, maybe they're not mature, but maybe they are adults. So they are the ones that trigger us the most. The ones closest to us trigger us the most. our mothers can trigger us the most. I know because I've heard it from my oldest son. Geez, Mom, you trigger me more than anyone else. Why? Because I installed those triggers inside my children. Yes, and I did it so well. So I have a theory that we mess up our kids just enough to give them something to work on through their lifetime. It is not meant for us to then bash ourselves up over the head because we didn't know any better when we had our children. Usually awakening happens later in life after we've already raised our kids. It's not too late to say you're sorry, though. I've apologized to all of my kids. I have. And yes, I've even apologized to my mother for any way I've hurt her. But forgiveness doesn't have to be a conversation with the people who hurt you. You don't need to have a conversation to forgive them. All you need to do, bow your head, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, while you're thinking about those people that were mean to you, that said hurtful things, that triggered you. Forgive them. Remember, whoever triggers us they're not the problem. Our trigger is the issue. So don't get angry with them. They triggered you, something that needs to be healed. And yes, I do private sessions. I'm still doing those. And yes, I do energy clearings, which help to lift despair, sadness, sorrow, grief, suicide ideation, and even suicide, the idea of suicide from you. Yes. And I also do past life clearings. So all of these things can help you move through, and I'm going to repeat it one more time so that you're certain to have it all. All right. So pain can cause physical symptoms, like emotional pain can cause physical symptoms that manifest in our bodies. They can show up as fibromyalgia, Epstein Barr, an autoimmune disease, RA, rheumatoid arthritis, a lot of other things. So we are not meant to stay in pain. We're meant to let it go and move through it. It is the catalyst for our personal growth. That was the butt kicking that I needed to move through and love myself fearlessly. And I do. So that's why I'm here, folks, to help you, because I've done it myself. So number one, you want to commit to yourself. Write down, whatever your name is, commit to letting go of my pain, and date it and sign it. Number two, acknowledge, yes, I feel really shitty right now. I feel intense sadness. I feel despair. I feel sorrow. I feel abandonment and rejected. Acknowledge it. And then three, accept it. And then release it. We went through the process earlier. And then forgive with the Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you. I hope this helped. Have a fabulous rest of your day. I love you. And my website is jenniferelizabethmasters.com. I help people overcome their pain, sorrow, trauma, suffering, sadness, molestation, rape, narcissistic abuse. This is where I reside. It is my wheelhouse because I did it for myself, and I know how to help you do it too. Thanks for being here. Mwah. Much love.